Hi guys, thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be making this adorable bag by Parker on the Porch. This is called the Sneak Peek bag, and you can see that we're using clear vinyl. This is the front. This is the back. Okay, let me show you the inside. This is the number 3 version. There's not another version yet, so just the number 3 zipper. Okay, and then here's the inside, what the inside looks like. Okay. This is the 8x12 file size. This is what it comes out like, this size. Okay. Super cute. We are going to go ahead and make the 5x7 size. I'm going to show you how to make that. Okay, so this bag, the stabilizer comes out. There's 2 hoopings and the stabilizer comes out on both of them. So we're going to use tearaway on both of these. This is my 5x7 with a sheet of tearaway. I'm going to be using this fabric today. This fabric, this is from Walmart. And then this fabric right here is custom fabric from Eden Ellie Fabric. It's super cute, okay? So you can find this on her site. She sells this still. This is, go to Eden Ellie Fabric and then go to the park or the ride section. This is going to be in the ride section. This is really cute if you want this fabric. Okay, so let's get started. I'm gonna meet you over at my machine and I will show you what we do. Okay guys, I'm on my machine. This is my 5x7 hoop. I have 1 sheet of tearaway. I am running a Baby Lock Spirit machine. Okay, and when you go ahead and download your files, you're gonna get folders that say first hooping and second hooping. The first hooping looks like this one right here. It has the cross marks right there. You're going to want to run this one first. This is the second hooping right here. That's when you put the bag together. So this just creates the front of the bag for you. So I'm going to go ahead and select that and get it on my machine. The very first step is to go ahead and stitch the placements directly onto your stabilizer. So I'm going to do that and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay guys, this is what it looks like right here. You can see that it went ahead and did all these placements. This is going to show you how to place your vinyl in all of your fabric pieces, okay? So the next step is to go ahead and place the vinyl right here in this middle square. I'm going to show you this clear vinyl right here. And let's talk a minute about clear vinyl. I go ahead and buy, you can buy it from all over the place. I have mine, my current clear vinyl is from Joann's. You can buy it. It's in the back on the really big, huge rolls. And then they're done by color. There's several of them and they all look like this, but each one of these papers is a different color. And that's by gauge. That's how thick the vinyl is. To do embroidery projects, you need at least a 12 gauge vinyl. If you go smaller number than that, it's thinner and it pulls right out of the project. So 12 gauge is your minimum that you can do. You can do thicker, but keep in mind if it's too thick, then when you're turning it, it's hard to turn. But this is 12 gauge right here. This is what the wrapper looks like. And it's really long, like I said. This used to be like all nice in a row. It's kind of messed up now because it's almost gone, but it comes in the really, really long rolls. So go in the back and look there. Sorry, my dogs are barking. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and cut a big enough piece of clear vinyl to go over this center square right here. Okay, you just need it to be big enough to get by all of that. And then we're going to go ahead and run the next step, which is just going to go ahead and stitch this square. So I'm going to take this to the machine, run step 2, and then I will come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like. It went ahead and ran step 2. All it did is tack down this vinyl right here. And we're going to take this off the machine and we're going to trim it, and I'm going to show you how. But I wanted to show you something on the machine for step 3. I always look ahead so I know what I'm doing in the next step. So we're going to be cutting around this, and then the next step is step 3. So I'm going to bring you over here, and it shows you on this bag that it's going to be stitching this side over here, this side right here. That's the next side that we're stitching. So what's important about that is that you grab the right fabric. Okay, so one thing that I do when I'm doing this bag, so I don't get confused, I want to know that this is the top. like this, because if you're using directional fabric, it can get really confusing really fast if you don't know what side the bag looks like. And this looks the same all the way around, so you're going to need to know what is where. So I immediately write top up here because I know this is the top of the bag. Okay, and then now I know that the first side that's running is over here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bring you back to my table, and I'm going to show you how to cut the fabric. Okay, I'm just going to show you how I cut my fabric. It's probably going to stress some people out because I'm not very frugal with my fabric, even my custom fabric. I don't like we need 2 strips that go this way that are very small. You don't need a very big piece right here that go this way. And it needs to run up and down like this. So technically I need to cut like something like this. Now I could go ahead and just take this one thing right here and go ahead and cut up in a very small piece, but I really don't like my fabric that's left over in jagged pieces all over the place. So I fold the entire thing and I just cut straight up because I'd rather waste the fabric than have it look like that. It drives me crazy when I open fabric and it's like all like a jigsaw puzzle. So I'm gonna just cut off the seam allowance right here so I don't get it stuck in my fabric. And then I'm just gonna cut. You're gonna do the fold over method here, so you need a little bit extra to be able to get over the edge. So I'm just gonna cut straight up like this, okay? Now I have a really long piece because this is the whole length of the fabric. And so I have enough to do this side and this side. So I'm just going to set that aside. I have that cut. Now the other thing I need is this flap down and this flap up, which is the opposite direction. I can't cut this way. They need the strips this way, but I also need the back of the bag right here. I need this as well. So I need a piece of this running that way and these 2 running that way. So when I do this one, I just cut the whole length like I'm cutting like a flat bag, okay? So I'm just gonna go all the way across, make sure I can get past all of the distance, and then I'm just gonna cut up like that. So you could be way more frugal with your fabric if you just do 1 layer and don't have it all folded, but I like having the remaining amount of my fabric nice and neat and not all jaggedy. So that's how I do it. I'm just showing you. Okay, so now we need 2 strips that are this way. I'm just going to show you real quick here. You want them to run like this, okay? So I'm going to cut 2 that are big enough to get by that. And I just set my fabric up to it like this. You could measure, you could go off of the measurements in the PDF. I like to get my stuff done kind of fast, so I just kind of set it up there and just eyeball it and give it some extra. So those 2 are cut right there. Now we need the back of the bag. So I'm going to go ahead and just make sure I'm over all of it and cut there. Okay, so I have those 3 pieces. Now I need my 2 sides. And honestly, I can just match. Well, this has a edge. I'm just going to get that off. And then this, you could fold this up and do it. So I'm just going to do that. And then I'm going to pull another one down and do that. Okay. Now on this, you need a liner. So these are all outside pieces, and I'm going to take medium weight interfacing, and I'm going to put interfacing on all of this. Okay, so medium weight interfacing. When you do interfacing, this is medium weight right here. When you do interfacing, you just take the rough side, you place your fabric the wrong side down. I'm going to iron it first. And then you go ahead and put a piece. I would cut it so the glue doesn't get on your iron. And then I'm just going to iron it on, and it heats to this and it makes your fabric a little thicker. This is all woven fabric, but I'm going to make the outside pieces a little thicker. So I'm going to go ahead and use medium weight interfacing. So I'm going to show that off camera. I'm not going to show that. So I'll go ahead and get that done. But you need 1 more piece of fabric. Normally you need 2 liners, but all of, oh, we need the liner too. Okay, so what we need to do next, I'm going to take this fabric, and then the piece that shows through your window, I'm going to use this fabric. This is what's going to be peeking through my window, and it's the liner. It's the very last liner piece on this bag that will show through, and I'll show that as we go ahead and do it. But as you know, This is super thick. It's all folded already. I just go ahead and cut the size that I know I need, like this. Okay. So I'm going to do one piece the size of the bag. This is what's going to be peeking through the window. I'm going to cut this because that is the seam allowance, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Now the other thing you need to cut is the liner. So this is what's going to peek through the inside of the bag. These pieces are all the front, but you also need the liner part that we're going to use in this first step. So you see how you can see this right here? Well, it does it on the inside too. So it's these pieces. So you need those exact same sizes of something that you want as your liner. Okay, so I'm going to just use this fabric right here. So I know that I need 2 pieces this size. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut that. Oops. There. I'm going to cut here. Now the liner pieces I'm not going to do interfacing on, just the outside. Okay, and then I know I need 2 of these lengthwise. So I'm going to go ahead and cut here. And I actually think this is probably enough this way. Yep, okay. So we are good to go. Let me recap the fabric real quick if that was confusing. Okay, so let me put those there. This goes here. Okay, this is how many pieces of fabric you need to make this bag, okay? So when you do the outside, I'm going to show you right here. You need this outside piece and you need this outside piece and you need that inside liner piece and you need it at the bottom too. That's these. So this is the outside. This is going to be the inside piece and these get placed at the same time. So I'm going to show you. So I'm not going to interface the inside. I'm going to interface the outside with medium weight interfacing. That's the top. Here's the bottom. Same exact thing. I'm going to interface this, not interface this. This is the inside liner piece. This is the outside. Okay, you're going to do the same thing. Now you need one for here and one from here, and these run the opposite direction. So these run up and down. So we have that. This is the liner part. This is the outside. I'm going to interface the outside. Liner part, outside part, going to interface the outside part. Nothing with here. I'm just going to iron it. Okay, so we have the whole front and inside of our bag done, and we have the piece of vinyl. So this whole front, that's the pieces. Now the other thing you need is the back of the bag, which is right here. That's what we're going to have on the back. And then you need this piece right here, which is considered a liner that peeks through. That's what peeks through. And I'm going to have these guys peeking through. So I have that piece. Okay. So now I'm going to show you how to put all of this together. I'm going to go ahead and interface what I'm going to interface, and I'll come back and show you real quick. And then we're going to go to the machine and we're going to put the front together. Okay. Okay guys, I went ahead and prepped all my fabric. This is what it looks like when it has the interfacing ironed onto the outside. Okay, the first thing that's going to stitch is this side over here. Here's your top right there, so you know which direction to do it. So if you have your top facing you, it's going to be this side over here. We are going to go ahead and trim around this. I'm just going to use some applique scissors. You don't want to cut too close where it's going to pull out, but you don't want a lot either because you don't want it to have to fold over. Okay, so let me just cut this real fast. Okay, that is about how I cut it right there. Okay, now we're going to work on this side first. Now you're going to place the underneath and the top at the exact same time. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this over. I'm just going to put like an X right here so you can see through it, so you know, because when you flip it over, it comes over here. Okay, so we're going to be doing this side. Okay, so I'm using this Stormtrooper, this fabric right here. Now it's going to be the flip style. So you're going to go ahead and take your fabric. You're going to want, okay, let me do this too. Top. You want to make sure the top's here because you want your fabric the right direction. So you want your fabric like it would be looking at you correctly. You're going to go ahead and flip it like this. wrong side's facing up, and you're gonna pull it along this line right here because this is what's gonna stitch. So I'm gonna go ahead and just place it like right there. Now it's gonna stitch a line, and then we're gonna fold it over like this so you know that it's facing the correct way, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and get some tape. Put some up here just to hold it. I'm gonna put one piece right here as well, because when you put it on your machine, you don't want this to lift up like this, okay? You want this to stay down for the stitch, okay? So this is ready to go. We're gonna place the top the exact same way. So this one, you can like fussy cut and do whatever you want. This is kind of a smaller bag. This one shows a lot more of the fabric because it's a bigger bag, and you can match up what you want to show. This is going to not show that much, but I kind of want, if I can get it, kind of want him like in the center right there, okay? So I'm gonna put him like right there. Let me see where the line is right there. It's gonna stitch right there. So I gotta make sure when I flip that it gets over this side, that you have enough fabric, but also to kind of show him. I'm gonna go this way a little bit. Kind of like that. Okay, I'm gonna place him right there, okay? So the wrong side of the fabric's facing up. You have your fabric over on this side because it's gonna do a line, and then you're gonna flip it over and it's gonna look right, okay? So this is how you wanna place it, like that, okay? Now we're gonna go over to the machine, and the next step is just gonna stitch one line right here. That's all it's gonna do, and it's gonna attach the front of your fabric and the liner to your stabilizer right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and run that. I will come back and show you. Okay, this is what it looks like right here. It went ahead and ran the one stitch that I said it was gonna. There and here. Now we're gonna fold this over, and it's gonna do a top stitch. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this tape off. You can go ahead and trim if you have too much fabric hanging over. Go ahead and trim it a little bit. It doesn't have to be super close because you never want this to pull out of your bag, but if you leave a bunch of it in, it's gonna make your bag thicker, basically. Okay, so I just cut it a tiny piece. Now you're gonna go ahead and fold it over like this. Smooth it out. Go ahead and tape it so it holds. Mine's too long down here, so I have nothing to tape it to. So I'm gonna cut that just so I can tape it to the stabilizer. Okay, so you can see it's taped down. I'm just gonna put one more right here so it stays when I put it back on my machine. Okay, so that's taped down. Just do this corner too so it stays a little tighter. Okay, so that's taped down. The next step's gonna just do a top stitch to hold these in place. So we need to do the front too. I'm gonna cut this excess. Okay, now you're gonna fold this over just like you did on the back. Smooth it down. Go ahead and tape it down. Okay, you just want it to be held. Now it's gonna go the next step. We're gonna go over to the machine, run the next step. It's gonna do one line right here. It's a top stitch. So you are gonna see it on your bag. So make sure you pick which color thread you want. You can see it right here. See that top stitch? That's what it's doing next. So make sure you have the right color thread. I'm gonna go ahead and run that, and then I will come back and show you what we do next. Okay, there's that top stitch. You can see that I picked red. I'm gonna do a red zipper, so I thought I would do red. So it shows. You could do black or whatever color your fabric is so it blends in more. I wanted mine to stand out a little bit. Okay, so then I want to show you, if you look at your steps, step 5, it's going to go ahead. You can see that it came over to here. See my green little thing? So it's going to do this opposite side now, right over here. So we need to go place the fabric exactly the same way. I'm going to walk you through it again, but it's going to be the exact same steps on this side. Okay, so I'll meet you back over at my table. Okay, here we are. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. We're placing this side now. Remember, you want to keep the top. This is the top, so you place your fabric correctly. So when you flip it over, it's this side, but when you flip it over, it's over here, okay? So we're going to do the exact same thing. Here's this fabric. That's my liner. And go ahead and flip it wrong side up, but know that they're facing the right way towards you because this is the top of your bag. You don't want it upside down. That's why I'm like all emphasizing that. So you want them facing you, whatever fabric you're using, facing you the correct way up, and then go ahead and flip it like this. Pull it over. You want it to line up on this line right here, just over that line so it can catch the fabric. Go ahead and tape it down so it stays. You don't want it flipping up on you. Okay, so that one's ready to go. I'm just gonna place it here too. That's ready to go. It's gonna go ahead and stitch that one line, but we have to do the top at the same time. Okay, so I have this fabric right here. This one, I'm gonna just do this. Okay, so you want it facing towards you the right way, right side up. Then you're gonna flip it like this. Pull it over, and you want this just to go slightly over your lines right here. Okay, I'm going to do that and try to get that little robot to show. Like right there. Okay, oops. Then I'm going to go ahead and tape it down. And this is on top, so I don't have to tape more. It's not going to get moved. Okay, so I'm going to go over to my machine. I'm going to run the next step. It's going to do that one line, tacking these down, and I'll come back and show you. Okay, this is what it looks like. You're going to want to trim a little bit. Okay, I'm going to flip it over. Smooth it down. Go ahead and tape it so it stays how you want it. Okay, I'm gonna do one more like that. Okay, so that's done. You're gonna do the back as well. Go ahead and trim if you need to trim. Take this tape off. Okay, you want to flip this over like this. Smooth it down. My tape's upside down. Smooth it over. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and run the top stitch step again. So we're just going to go over there. It's going to run one line. Make sure you have your right color. And just snip that extra, and it's just going to do the exact same thing right here that it did over here. So I'm going to go run that, and then I will show you. Okay, that's what it looks like. It went ahead and did that top stitch. Okay, and then if you look at your machine or you follow the PDF steps or you watch this video, the next one it's going to do is the very top right here. See my green arrow? So we got to place this top fabric. Okay, so I'm going to bring you back to the table. I'm going to show you how to place that. Okay guys, we're going to place this top part right here. It says top, top. So we're going to place it underneath first. Okay, the way you're going to want to do this is you're going to want to have your fabric on right side up facing you the correct way. Okay, like that. And then if you flip it down like this, wrong side down, right side down, sorry, wrong side up showing you. Flip it towards you. put it right along this line all the way across. It's going to stitch on this line, so that's where you know it's going to go. Gonna kind of go like this. And you want it to go all the way across your bag. Even though you can't see these lines anymore because they're covered, they still need to be stitched across. Okay, so then go ahead and tape it down. Like this. When it stitches the line, this is going to flip back over and you will see them the correct direction. Okay, so now go ahead and flip your bag over. We're going to be doing this top part right here. So I have this. You want it to be like this. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and place it. See, the right side up all the way across. Flip it towards you down. You can double check always. If you flip it back up like this and it's going the correct direction, then you know you're placing it right. I'm gonna kind of place it right there. Sorry, I'm trying to line up the Star Wars a little bit. Okay, you can look this way too to make sure. It's gonna stitch on this line right here. So, like that, okay. So I'm going to tape this down and it's going to stitch that line. When it flips up, it's going to look like that, okay? So we know it's all facing the right way. Okay, I'm going to just tape there. I probably shouldn't tape so far up because it's going to stitch there. I don't want the stitching to go through my tape. Stitch there. You don't really have to tape the top as well because it's not going to get stuck under the machine. Okay, so I'm going to go over and stitch the next line. It's going to stitch across here and I'll come back and show you. Okay, this is what it looks like. It went ahead and stitched it. So let's flip it over. I'm going to cut this. Off. Tape everywhere. Okay, now you're going to flip this up like that. I'm going to tape it up. This bag actually goes really fast if you're not like recording and explaining every single thing. Once you do a couple of them, then it's kind of just second nature. You just flip, flip, you're done. So it looks a little time consuming for this front part, but it's really not that bad, okay? So you have everything all flipped up like that, okay? Now we're gonna do the bottom next. But we need to do our top stitch first. So let me just cut this. Okay. Flip this up like that. Okay. Now when I'm not doing this in the tutorial, I just put it on the machine and I hold my hands out of the way and it just stitches. So mine goes really fast when I'm doing it. You can make this bag go a lot faster, but I'll tape it. You just want this smooth, so when it stitches the top stitch, it stitches right. So I'll just tape it down. Okay, now I'm going to go over the machine. I'm going to run the next step. It's going to go ahead and stitch a top stitch along here. You can see mine's kind of poofy. I like hold mine out of the way like this, but some people worry about getting their hands stuck in the needle, so don't listen to that. Go ahead and tape it down the way you want it. I'm gonna go ahead and stitch that, and then we're gonna come down and it's gonna show that we need to do this spot too, okay? Okay, the last one is the bottom, so we're gonna go ahead and flip it over and do the bottom. Same way we do the other ones, okay? So you're gonna face it the way you want it. You're gonna go ahead and flip it like up. Then you're going to pull it down just under that first one, and then when it's done stitching, it's going to go like that, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and tape there. I tape the bottom a little bit better just because it can flip up on you and you don't want that. Okay, so the bottom's ready. I'm gonna go to the top, same thing, face it towards you. You're gonna go ahead and flip it up, bring it right below that line, and then it's gonna flip down like that, okay? So I'm gonna look where that is. Okay, like that. You can go ahead and tape it. Normally I just hold it. Okay, I'm gonna go stitch the step that goes ahead and tacks this down, and then we're gonna flip, do the top stitch. We're almost done with this hooping. Okay, this is what it looks like. We're gonna go ahead and trim it. You pull this down, that's what it's gonna look like. Okay, you tape it all up. Go on this side, pull this all up. Pull it down, and it's too long to be able to tape it, so I'm gonna go ahead and see where it needs to go to and then just trim it so I can tape it down. Okay, so let's get some tape. Okay, we're all taped down there. Okay, so you can go ahead and tape this down. I'm just going to hold it, but you can tape this down. Go ahead and tape there and there. I'm just going to hold it out of the way. Okay, so I will come back and show you what that looks like. I went ahead and stitched that. Now it's going to go ahead and stitch the very last step. This is a placement step right here that goes ahead and shows you how to place it onto the bag in the next hooping. So you need to go ahead and do that. Now I'm just gonna run it. I'll show you, this is what I do. I don't tape anything. See, I keep my hands completely out of the way. But I suggest you tape it. People get a needle in their finger every single day, so. That's all it does, so that one's done. So we are done with this hooping. I'm going to bring you back to my table and show you what we do next. Okay, we're done with this hooping. I'm going to go ahead and pull this off of my hoop. Get all this tape off of here, because we are going to use this hoop again. Okay. All right, now you can take, this is tearaway, you can take all this tearaway out. I'm going to show you that. So you're just going to go ahead and get in here and just tear all of this away so it's not in your bag. Hear it. Okay, and then you don't want to cut your vinyl, but you want to get in here so you can get this as well. Okay. You have placement. Okay, and then you can use tweezers. I need to get my tweezers to get any of this that you missed. I mean, the more time you take to make sure all your tearaway's out and that it looks great, the better your bag will look. Okay. So get all your tearaway out, this is ready to go for the next step. And go ahead and get another piece of tearaway. You need tearaway on this as well. Put another piece of tearaway on your hoop that you're using, and I will meet you over at the machine. We're going to go ahead and stitch the first step, which is going to be the placement. Okay, we have our second hooping loaded. This is what it looks like right here. We're going to go ahead and run the first step, which is going to go ahead and do the placement directly onto your tearaway. I'm going to run that. I'll come back and show you. Okay guys, this is what that placement looks like. This is going to show us where to place everything. The first thing we're going to go ahead and place is our zipper. This is a number 3 zipper. This is how they come. I actually store them. I'll show you like this. I have them on a board and I store them like this. That's the number 3 zipper. I actually store my number 5 zippers like this. The only difference between the number 5, these are thicker and you need to go ahead and put the zipper pull on them. These come, number 3 come with a zipper pull and the width is thinner, okay? So that is the difference between the zipper. This bag is a number 3 zipper. Sorry, hopefully I don't make you sick by moving around. And that's what we're placing. So if you want the zipper pull on this side of your bag, remember this is the top of your bag, place it like this. If you want it to open from the other side, just go like that. Okay, I am gonna line this up along this bottom line right here. Now people ask, how do you know if you have a long enough zipper? You just need to make sure the end of your zipper, there's a hard piece right there, the stopper, and the pull can get by your placement stitches on either side. It can be super long. You could put the longest zipper on here, it wouldn't matter because we cut that excess off, but you have to be able to get past both of those without the foot of your machine hitting your zipper pull or your stopper. That's how you know you have a big enough zipper. Okay, so we're gonna come in here. We are gonna line it up right along this line all the way across where you can see it, but just barely, where it's just running right next to it all the way across. And once you have it placed like that, go ahead and tape here. Go ahead and tape there. Make sure you're in the right spot. Go ahead and tape both sides because you want it to stay. And then it's going to go ahead and run the next step. Step 2 is going to go ahead and stitch right here, tacking it down, jumping your zipper teeth and stitching up here, sorry. So it's going to jump your teeth and stitch above as well. Okay, so that's all you need to do. Go ahead and tape it down and run the next step and I'll come back and show you. Okay, this is what it looks like right here. You can see the line. And it went ahead and stitched and tacked your zipper down, okay, all the way across. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and place the front of our bag right here that we made earlier. Make sure it's all cleaned up and looks great, okay? So the way that we place this is you are gonna place it along, you're gonna watch the center line. It went ahead and stitched on that last step. It's red, so hopefully you can see it. You have a line right here and a line all the way across. We're going to use those two to help us line it up on this bag. And here's the center line, which you're going to use that center right there for. And then it's going to stitch along this line right here that it just stitched, okay, by your zipper. So we're going to make sure we line it up correctly. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to go ahead and place our bag the correct way facing up towards us. We're going to go ahead and flip it. I still have some tearaway in here. Hold on. Missed a piece, okay. So we're going to go ahead and flip it up like this because it's going to be flipper style and it's going to come down like that. So you're going to bring this up, okay. I'm going to take, I can see the line right here still, right there. You're going to take that line, you're going to make sure it is on this line right here, okay. Now this line running across this way, you're going to want to make sure that that is right below this stitch line right here. The stitch line you see, because you don't want to see that line on your bag. So you need to be right below it. And that shows you what line's going to run next. So keep it in the center and pull right below that line like that. I'm just going to tape right here so it doesn't move, and then I'm going to make sure that this one is still like right below. I'm still in the center. And I'm right below that line, okay? Okay, so this is how you're gonna line it up. And this is like a see-through bag right here, so you don't do the liner underneath. So you're only doing the top right now. Normally on other bags, if you're doing the top zip, you do the underneath and the top. We're not doing that on this bag. This is a see-through bag, so it's done a little differently. So once you have that lined up with these lines right here, then go to the machine and stitch the next stitch. It's going to stitch right above. It should be stitching right above the stitch right here. If it is not, stop it and move it again, because you don't want to see this line, so you need it to stitch here. If it's stitching here, then you'll see that line on the front of your bag. If you lined it up correctly along, see, here's this. Actually, I'll show you. This is where the stitching is right there. This line is with this one right here all the way down, and then this line was lined up right underneath the line that's underneath this, because we want it to stitch right above it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go to my machine. I'm gonna stitch the next step, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay guys, this is what it looks like right here. See the red line? That's what we just stitched, and you can see the line we were going off of is right there. Okay, so now when you flip the bag, you don't see that other line. If it was the opposite way, you would see this. Okay, you don't want to see that. So that shows you how it was lined up correctly. Okay, now we want to cut this excess off. We're ultimately going to be flipping our bag like this. Now, it is important in this bag that you cut this right above the zipper. Like, you want it to cut, here's your zipper right here. You want to cut it where this fabric is above this bottom part of your zipper. If you do not, you will see this fabric on the inside of your bag. Let me see if I can show you on this bag. Oh yeah, right here. Let me just flip this a little bit. There's not an enclosed seam on the underside of this zipper. So here's the zipper, how it ends. If you flip this zipper up like this, oops, let me just show you, you can see the fabric right there. There's rough edged fabric right there. Now, if you don't cut it, this is what we're cutting right now. This is the fabric you're seeing right there. If you don't cut it where the zipper covers that, then you're going to have a bunch of fabric hanging down right here, and you will see rough edged fabric right here. So it's important in this step that you don't cut your zipper either. So you're going to use, I'm going to use these applique scissors right here, and I am going to cut. I'm going to get different applique scissors because those are dull. And I am going to just cut across this. Now keep looking, because you don't want to cut your zipper either. I'm just like cutting along that original stitch line. Okay. So what you want to make sure you see is that you see the zipper showing all the way across. And if you can see your zipper all the way across, you won't see your fabric over that, okay? Just like that, okay? Now the next step, you're going to go ahead and pull this down like this. You're going to make it smooth and look really nice like that. Now you're going to want to tape this down so it stays smooth and nice. And you're going to go ahead and run the next step, okay? The next step is going to go ahead and do a top stitch right here, okay? So make sure you have the right color that you want to see. It's going to be this one right here. See that top stitch? That's what we're running next, okay? So I'm going to go over and run that, and I will come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like. It went ahead and did the top stitch right there along the top. Now I'm going to put it back on the machine. The next step, step 5, is just going to go ahead and tack the rest of the bag down, okay? It looks like this. We don't add anything else. We just let it go ahead and tack this front down, okay? So I'm going to run that. I will come back and show you what it looks like. Okay guys, this is what it looks like right here when I tacked it all down. Okay, now we're at the step where we're gonna put the back of our bag on the front of our bag. And whenever we do that on any bag, you have to open your zipper, okay? So open your zipper far enough over that you can flip through it, but not so far over that the foot of your machine's gonna hit it over here, because it's gonna run around these placement lines all the way around several times. Okay, so that's about good. Your zipper's open. If you want to add anything to your bag, this is when you do it right now. If this was a big bag and you wanted this to be a purse and you wanted straps up here, you would go ahead and you could put hardware on here if you wanted. I'm not going to do hardware. Just take ribbon. You could make bias tape with your same fabric. I made bias tape on this one. Okay, if you can do whatever you want, take whatever hardware you want. Like this, say you were doing this and you wanted to make a crossbody bag or something, you would take it and place it like this. You would do one here, you would do another one right here. Remember, the hardware goes on the inside of your bag. The next step's going to stitch all the way around here several times, this line right here, all the way around. So whatever you put, you can put this anywhere you want. Just make sure the hardware's on the inside and it will stitch it into the bag, okay? I'm going to place it right here on the side like I did here. I like to do little side ones, and then I can add little charms or whatever to the bag that I want to. I'm not going to add the hardware though. This is a smaller bag, so I'm not going to put that hardware in there. So I'm just going to use fold over elastic. Fold over elastic is just stretchy elastic. This one's just solid red. You're going to go ahead and take the, I always do this. Let me get one that has something on it that you care about, okay? Okay, this is just solid, so I can't really show you. So this has a design on it. Let me cut it shorter. Say you want so you place it correctly. So if you have something that has a design on it, like this does, you want to place it the correct way. So I have the bag towards you. Remember, this is the top of the bag. I'm going to fold this over. The loop is right there. So the right side is out, wrong sides are together. This is the loop. The loop goes on the inside of the bag. And whatever you place facing down is what's going to show on the front of your bag. So we technically want this to look like this in the end. You want your little pirate showing right there. So you're going to take the loop, you're going to put it like this. It's going to stitch through the bag, and when it flips, it's going to flip like that. And that's how you're going to know it's the right direction and everything's good, okay? So you would just tape this down right here. And that's how you would do it. So I just have a solid one. I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Place it right there. Now, depending on how long you want the loop to be will determine on if you have it this way more, it will be a bigger loop. If you want just a tiny little thing, you want to place it this way on here. The only thing you have to watch out for is hardware. If you had hardware here, you can't be super close because the foot of your machine will hit it. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So I want it like about there. I'm going to go ahead and tape it down. That is all I'm adding to my bag. If you're adding like your shop tag or whatever, that's how you would add it. You could add it down here. You can put whatever you want along these lines. Okay, that's all I'm adding. Your zipper's open. Everything that I want added is added. You're going to take your back of your bag fabric. This is the back of your bag. Put it like this, facing you, right side up facing you. You are going to flip it this direction, like that, okay? To make your fabric go the right direction, okay? So you're going to do that. And I'm going to go to the machine. I'm going to run the next step. It's going to stitch all the way around this several times, okay? So I'll come back and show you what it looks like. We are almost done, guys. Bear with me, okay? So this is what it looks like right here. It went ahead and enclosed the whole top of your bag. Now you're going to go ahead and place your one liner. We're going to flip this over, make sure this is the top, okay? This is our fabric. This fabric is what you're going to see through your window. See that fabric? That's what we're placing right now. So you might want to fussy this a little bit more than other ones. Mine are just a bunch of stormtroopers, so I'm going to place them where they're just kind of in the, see how I can line them up. You can see where the window is, so it's a little bit easier to do it. So the way you want to do this, you want your fabric, this is the top. You want your fabric facing you the correct way, and you want to go like this. That will make your fabric the right direction. Then I kind of just slip it down like this so I can see what's fitting where in the window. Okay, you want to make sure you can get past all your placement lines. So I'm going to put him right there. I might pull him down a little bit. I want to see where his chest starts. Can I get this whole guy in the window? Let me see. Nope. I want his head for sure. So I'm going to pull him down a little bit like that. Okay. So that's how I'm placing mine. I'm going to go ahead and tape this really good because you're on the underneath of your hoop. Okay, just like that. Okay, we're gonna go run the last step. The last step's gonna pretty much do exactly what this step did, but it's gonna leave a hole right here so we can flip our bag. So I'm gonna go run that. I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Yay, guys, we're done stitching. This is what the top of your hoop should look like. This is what the underneath of your hoop should look like. Okay, so go ahead and take it off of your hoop. Go ahead and get your tearaway out. Just like that. Go ahead and flip your bag. You can see that there's a hole right here. You can see where the stitches start and stop. Okay, I'm going to cut at an angle up to that first. Don't cut any of your stitch lines. I'm going to cut around this bag. See, if you had an extra long zipper, we're just cutting the excess off. This is also why you need to place the hardware inside your bag. This is a good visual. You cut all the way around this bag. So if your hardware was placed the other way, you're cutting it off right now. Okay. Cut, 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 cut. When you get to the end of these other stitches, I turn out the other way and cut across. Then you don't need this much, so I cut across like that. Throw it away. You need your liner. So here's the liner pieces right here. I'm going to fold those up, fold this down to hold that liner out of the way like that. And then I flip it so I can see the stitch lines. Now, when you cut, this is excess. You don't need this fabric. When you cut across this, do not turn your scissors like this because you'll end up cutting the stitches. Cut straight. Okay, you can throw that away. Your liner pieces are still here. Now you're going to flip through this liner right here. Be kind of careful. Yeah, this hole is kind of small. So just take your time. You're not in any super rush. You want to try not to tear your stitches down here. I'm just going to kind of scoot it through, scoot it through. Ooh. Now if you have a thicker vinyl, it's going to be even harder to flip. Okay. Alright, once you're flipped, I'm going to use this chopstick thing, and I'm just going to kind of gently push out these corners. Use my finger to at least get it started, and then I use this just to get the corners. Okay, we are good to go. Flip out your thing right there. Now, I pull my tearaway off now is when I do it. Okay, so I get it. Don't cut any of your fabric, but I just kind of get it going. Once you get it going, this top part has stitches, so it's going to take longer. So let me start where I can get the big piece out first. If you could just pull, it depends what kind of tearaway you have. This is not as fabricy, it's kind of rougher, and I pick it for this so it doesn't leave like little frayed parts. Okay. There's that one. So you just got to get it started, and then it pretty much just tears right out. The only part that takes some extra time is, this is your placement stitches. You can cut them. The only tiny thing that takes extra time is here because you have all these extra stitching. So you got to pull them out individually because they get stuck on each other. So it doesn't pull out as like one big piece. You're going to want to get this nice. It's on the inside of your bag, but you will still see it. So I'm just going to pull this. Okay, I'm gonna pull all of this out and then I'll come back and show you, okay? So take your time and get all of that tearaway out. Okay guys, this is what it looks like once you clean it up and everything's out of it. It's kind of a pain to get the tearaway out of these stitches, but it looks so much better if you take the time to get it out, okay? And I just use some tips. I use tweezers, and then I also use this. Between those two little things, I would go like this and just pull it all up that way. So those might help, but this is what it looks like so far. So now we're going to close this hole. You have a hole right here and it's open because you opened your zipper. If you didn't open your zipper, you wouldn't have this open right here. Got to open that zipper. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close this hole. You can use several things. If you like using the glue, this is the glue I use when I close the hole, Fabric Tack glue. I'm going to use this tape, this peel and stick fabric fuse tape. That's what I'm going to use to close it. And I just go ahead and place it. Oh wait, I missed some. Look at me not see the tearaway right here because it's white. Okay, there we go. I put it like on that line. There's stitches right there. Okay, and just put it across and then tear it. And then I just rub it. Okay, and then I flip it in. This is why I leave extra fabric so I can sandwich it in to close this hole. Get it how you want it. Okay. Right about there, looks straight and nice. Okay, so then you peel this backing off. Make sure it's sticking and then peel it a little bit at a time. So I just do a little bit. And then I put the fabric down and just hold it and press, and it sticks it together, closing your hole. Okay. I never pull it all the way across because this stuff's way too sticky and it just gets everywhere and then it's really hard to close. So I just do a little bit at a time. Okay, and then I just rub it, hold it down to make sure it's closing. Okay, so this is what it looks like now. It's all closed. It's not open. That's all it takes. Now you're going to turn through your zipper hole. I'm just putting my fingers in here and turning it. Okay, so make sure to get your corners out really well. I'm going to use this again. And then smooth it down. And you are done. You have yourself the Sneak Peek bag by Parker and the Porch. Super cute. See how I got him lined up in there? This is what your front looks like. This is what your back looks like. Okay, and then you open it. What your inside looks like. Okay. So I hope that that helps you make this bag. Here is the 8 by 12 size. Here is, oh, I don't know why that, hold on. Get my corner back out down there. Here's the 8 by 12. Here is the 5 by 7. So you can see the difference in sizes. Okay. They're super cute, super fun to make. And I hope this tutorial helped you. If you have any questions, let me know here on YouTube, or you also can ask your question in the Parker on the Porch Facebook group, and lots of people there can help you as well. And again, this is the Sneak Peek bag by Parker on the Porch. Okay, this is the number 3 zipper size. Go ahead, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, please. It helps me out and it helps me make more videos for you. And also, if you want to be notified when I do a video, go ahead and click on the little bell. It will notify you every time I upload a video. And go ahead and go share your project over in the Parker on the Porch group. I'd love to see what you make and how you change it and what you put on it. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.